If you're hearing that sound, and I know you are, it is an emergency broadcast. Friday, 5:20, Radio Free Auburn. Get ready. I repeat, this is emergency broadcast of Radio Free Auburn, 5:20. Jimbo Fisher gone wild. And in case you missed that yesterday, this is why we're coming on today.
Head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen, and it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, some people think they're God. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past, or anybody that's ever coached with him.
Woo.
You can find out anything you want to find out.
That's
what
right.
He does and how he does it.
Tell it, Jimbo.
Listen, you coach with people like Bobby Bowden, you learn how to do things. You coach with other people and learn how not to do things.
First of all, have you had any contact with Nick since?
No. Oh, he's called.
You just didn't take the call?
Not going to. We're done.
And,
He's
He
finished.
shows you who he is. He's the greatest ever, huh?
And then I just wanted
When
to
you got all the advantages, it's easy.
I mean, we're going to have to listen to that again. I mean, that was one of the most absurd rants I've ever heard. Welcome to Radio Free Auburn. We'll get back to that here shortly. Jimbo, emergency broadcast. We were not coming on air today. We were going to take this Friday off. We told you last week when we did a live tasting of Uncle Keith's red sauce. It's good, y'all. On air, that we'd probably be off this Friday, do a couple in May, do a couple in June. But for crying out loud, we had to come on with an emergency broadcast of Radio Free Auburn. Welcome, I'm Uncle T-Bone Wade Bennett, live from I-85 for you this morning for 1 hour, this beautiful Friday morning, 5:20. It's a hot one out there, and it's been a hot one in the college football world. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now that yesterday was one of the most wild days that I've ever encountered as a college football fan. I woke up yesterday morning very early like I normally do. Got the coffee going. Going to let the kids sleep in for about 30 more minutes before I take them to school, get them ready and help take them to school. Meanwhile, in those 30 minutes, I normally like to read. I've been reading a pretty cool book that I highly recommend right now. It's called Not Fade Away. You can find that on Facebook. That's where I found it. It's an excellent story. But I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just check in real quick. Probably a mistake, but I'm gonna check in real quick and see what's going on in the sports world. Now, go to CBSSports.com yesterday morning. It's always a good stop. And it looked like all Hades had broken loose in the college football world. It started with some type of comments 2 nights ago in Birmingham by Nick Saban that completely got up underneath the skin of Jimbo Fisher. The SEC commissioner by late yesterday had to step in and reprimand both of them. And here we are today, once like we've been talking about for a while now on this show, terms like NIL and transfer portals, and basically that college football is just done. It's a big clown show now. Now, I don't think that's the case, but it's been a wild 24 hours we're going to get into primarily on this emergency broadcast of Radio Free Auburn this Friday. Every Friday, thank you to our good friends at Fairway Auto Brokers. It's www.fairwayautobrokers.com. Give my friend, class of 1995 Auburn High School, Charlie Cox, a call, and he will get you hooked up with the very best selection and deals on cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, you name it. I've dealt with them several times over there. It's an easy process, and they always take care of you. When you go to fairwayautobrokers.com, go ahead and fill out your online information. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure in the comments section you put 2 terms in there. Summer Car Blitz, that's $500 off immediately any internet price. Summer Car Blitz, keyword, and Uncle T-Bone sent me. That's just like going over there and saying open sesame. They just go crazy when they hear that, and they're going to get you the very best deal that they possibly can on high quality, best selection around of cars, SUVs, trucks, vans in all of East Alabama. I love those guys. FairwayAutoBrokers.com. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent me. I've got a couple other things going on today. We'll get to this T-shirt right here. Our friends at Ragin Cajun. I met these guys in this company down at a food show in Panama City about a month ago, and I am very impressed with their products. I wanted to do a live tasting. Their website is acadianfoods.com. Let me make sure I get that right. That's right. Acadiankitchens.com. Let's not mess that one up. Go to acadiankitchens.com. They've got this incredible selection of etouffee, Creole sauces, roux, boxed dinners, jalapeno relishes, seasonings, seafood boils, seasoned beans. It's amazing. And just like with Uncle Keith's red sauce, that promotion's going on until 5/31 over at UncleKeith'sRedSauce.com. We're running a promo at AcadianKitchens.com. 10% off right there at checkoff in the promo code box. 50 in their standard, if you order $50 or more, free shipping. That's incredible. Always free shipping over $50. I promise you it won't take you very long with this high quality selection of all those items I mentioned. Just good folks and a good product, and we're happy to be able to promote them. That's what we do here at Radio Free Auburn at this free radio show. This isn't a business. I'm a fan. Right? And that's what this show's all about, people helping people. If you'll look real quick before we get going any further at this slick lid right here, that's right, I got that off the Jupiter Coyote, jcmerch.com, Matthew Mays and all the guys over at Jupiter Coyote. We love some Jupiter Coyote. By the way, Facebook, I talked to Matthew last night, and he said I could play a couple of his songs on my show today, royalty free. He's in control of it. He said, play the music. The music's great. We're going to play some here shortly. But get over to jcmerch.com. If there's a comment section, tell them Uncle T-Bone sent me. Go to their Facebook page. Well over 11,000 followers. A high-quality band. We'll talk about what they're up to in a little bit. But this hat right here, that's where I got it. We're going to also go down a few really good deals at Fairway Auto Brokers. My good friend Charlie Cox, one of Terrace Acres' finest, class of 1995, Auburn High School, sent me over the telephone, and we'll try and drive some people over there. So here we are. You heard the rant. You've heard it all now from Jimbo Fisher. He's insane. Okay, can we all agree that he probably went over the top yesterday? Look, we're going to play this one more time. Let's listen to Jimbo Fisher yesterday. These are some of the highlights of him basically having the devil in him. Okay? That's the only way I can explain it. Here we go. Jimbo Fisher talking about the one and only, the greatest of all time. It's despicable, Nick Saban.
It's despicable that a reputable head coach
his
can come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen.
Whoa.
It's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, some people think they're God. They're doing him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out, what he does and how he does it. Listen, you coach with people like Bobby Bowden and learn how to do things. You coach with other people and learn how not to do things.
First of all, have you had any contact with Nick since?
No. Oh, he's called.
You just didn't take the call?
Not going to. We're done.
And
he shows you who he is. He's the greatest ever, huh?
And then I just wanted
when you got all the advantages, it's easy.
You know, that's just a few of the highlights from Jimbo Fisher's rant yesterday. And boy, was it ever a rant. That one's probably going to be on the Jim Rome show and all-time rants forever. Okay, until that show ends. That's one of the all-time rants. It went on for about 11 minutes yesterday. And those are just some of the quick highlights that were cut in here. And I can tell you this all started, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it for quite some time, okay? NIL, name, image, likeness. Class of 1993 legend John Grover hit me up the other day and asked for a better explanation on it. I wish that I had one, but here goes. My basic explanation is it's a way to pay players legally now, or within the rules of the NCAA. We're going to get to that word legal here shortly, too. That word's being thrown around way, way too much in college football these days. Illegal and legal. But basically, it's a way to pay college football players money without giving them a sack full of money. Like in the good old days when they had the bag man and everybody else allegedly dropping coin on the best college football players to get them to come to your team. But NIL stands for name, image, and likeness. The best I can tell is college football players now, if they're at a football program, to earn extra money, can say go to Fairway Auto Brokers, our good friends over there in Opelika. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. And they can go over to Fairway Auto Brokers and say they could have got old Bo Nix to come over there last year, and on Saturday is going to be Bo Nix Day, and they're going to promote it on their website and through commercials and have yours truly say it's Bo Nix Day over at Fairway Auto Brokers. And Bo Nix is going to post up outside Fairway Auto Brokers with footballs and start signing them. And you can pay Bo Nix for a football, and he's going to say, if you come down here and you buy a car, I'll give you one of these footballs. And he's going to get some coin out of this from Fairway Auto Brokers for promoting their brand. Right? He's going to get some coin from Fairway Auto Brokers. He's going to use his name, his image, and his likeness and his local celebrity status in college football to promote Fairway Auto Brokers, and they're going to pay him to do it. Just like they would have paid Phil Mickelson, just like some bank pays Phil Mickelson to wear their hat and promote their brand. Name, image, likeness. Just like Aflac paid Nick Saban and Deion Sanders to be on that goofy commercial last fall that we saw 5 trillion times while watching college football with that duck. All kinds of coin for them to promote their brand. That's the best way I can tell it. The problem with it, and I agree they should be able to do that. It's a free country. You should be able to, if I were a star football player, I'd have my own website. I'd have my own show, and you'd have to pay me a subscription fee to be on it. Good idea. That's a good idea. Right? And I can tell you about how tough practice was today, and all the people that really get into that kind of stuff off the message boards can say, I'm with you, brother. I need to know the ins and outs of the football program. Here's $16.99 a month. Or one of these websites like auburnsports.com I love that place, by the way. They could, pay a football player to write a weekly article about how tough it is to be a football player in 2022. That's basically what name, image, and likeness is. So the rules on it, though, are really sketchy. The NCAA really doesn't have, from what I can tell, these strict guidelines on how football players or how student athletes in college athletics are going to be paid these days. And so I think the big issue here that started all this is that Alabama people and Nick Saban have been accusing, and a lot of other people in college football, by the way, have been accusing Texas A&M of using the NIL to lure top recruits to their school and sign with them. If you'll sign with us, you'll have an immediate $50,000 NIL deal, as opposed to just coming to the school naturally, proving yourself as a commodity, a hot commodity in college football, a stud, and then earning deals. To me, that's just a very fine line. That's a very fine line. And so 2 nights ago in Birmingham, at some kind of Q&A, Nick Saban had right there towards the end of the Q&A, had some questions asked about NIL and what's happening in college football. And he had a lot of great things to say, but the last couple of minutes of it, he had a comment that came out basically like this. Every Texas A&M bought their entire team. And look, when you start, if you've been around college football as long as I have, and there are people that have been around way longer, and I'm just a fan, but anybody in the media, anybody who's coached it, anybody who's been an administrator, anybody who's been involved, anybody who's followed this stuff day in, day out, when you've been around as long as I have, or you've been around a long time college football, when you say that another team bought a player, you're implying that they cheated. Now, I don't think that that was necessarily Nick Saban's goal there or point. In fact, I think he probably just rambled on a little too long, but that's why Jimbo Fisher went off. Well, this isn't the first time in the last 3-4 months since signing day in February and since last year's recruiting class that people have publicly had questions about Jimbo Fisher's #1 recruiting class. Can we say that this might have been on paper the greatest recruiting class in the history of college football, and a team that went 8-4 last year? There's a lot of questions about it. How did they do it? You know, the average everyday fan is running, that's not Texas A&M fan, is running around saying they cheated. And when you have comments from very, very public people, the so-called czar of college football, that they bought their team, probably misspoke, shouldn't have used those words, that they bought their team, almost every fan's going to run with it and say, okay, they bought them, they cheated. And I think that Jimbo Fisher's it's obvious he's had enough of that talk. And he came out swinging. And here we are. And in that talk, too, in that last couple of minutes, Nick Saban also called out Jackson State, a historical black college over in Jackson, Mississippi, because they got the #1 player on paper last year to sign with them, saying that he was paid $1 million for an NIL deal. That's been debunked. That was debunked in articles. That was fake news. The player himself actually came out on Twitter. I believe his name is Travis Hunter, saying if we got to get his tweet. He really kind of goes into it. He's like, look, if I had been paid $1 million, my mama and 5 kids wouldn't be living in a 3-2. Right? Now, I don't do Twitter. I don't like Twitter. I'm like Charles Barkley. Twitter is a borderline cesspool. But that being said, I'll look around every once in a while, and I'm looking at this kid. His name's Travis Hunter. He signed at Jackson State. People are saying he got $1 million deal. And here's his tweet from 23 hours ago. I got $1 million. It's my laughing out loud emoji. But my mom still stay in a 3-bedroom house with 5 kids. Laugh out loud. I mean, come on, man. If you're going to say, let's just stop right here, right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and say, if I'm Nick, here's some advice for Nick Saban. Get historical black colleges and players that go there out of your mouth unless you're trying to build them up. That should go for everybody, and that's the right thing to do. Just because the #1 player in college football decided that he wanted to go play with Deion Sanders, a very famous athlete, and make a little noise and go around his pathway a little bit different, doesn't mean he got $1 million, $1 million to do it. I don't like that. I did not. I didn't really care about the A&M stuff. I mean, look, I'm an Auburn fan. I'm not a big Jimbo Fisher fan. I like Nick Saban. I think he's great for college football, and I'll say it. But as an Auburn fan, let them tear each other's throats apart. I hope y'all both end up on the NCAA probation list and egg all over your face like you have, and reprimanded by the SEC and embarrassed by it, as you should be. This whole thing has actually turned into a complete circus. And look, let me get to it too. This time of year, in the past especially, when your college football team in late May, early June is in the news, it's bad news. It's bad press. Somebody's gone out and gotten in some trouble. right? One of your key players has gone and got arrested out there on South College Street for doing something he probably shouldn't do. So leave it to leave it to the greatest of all time, Nick Saban, to get us on an emergency broadcast and basically light the college football world on fire. A lot of interesting conversation to come on that. I also, in full transparency, am a recovered sports talk radio aholic. So I don't listen to a whole lot of sports talk radio any longer. Although I recommend it highly, especially if you're new to all this. It's a great way to learn about what's going on. But as a fan, too, and as someone who wants to be a better fan, I think it's incumbent on me to kind of express myself not as skewed or influenced by other people's opinions in sports talk radio, especially because, I mean, let me tell you what, man, these guys on sports talk radio locally especially are fantastic. But yesterday I decided to kind of break bread with them when I had a chance in between working, because this is such a hot story. I wanted to learn. I needed to find out more what was going on. And I started today seeing what Nick Saban said yesterday, and I was like, that's bad. I did not get a chance to listen to what Jimbo Fisher had to say until later in the morning. Actually, later in a little bit early afternoon, and was blown away. It kind of went like this. I started the day yesterday by reading my article, cannot believe, and basically believing that Nick Saban stepped in it. And I still believe that he did. And then I decided to take it over to an old sports talk radio show I like down in Montgomery, www.sportsradio740.com. That's John and Barry, Sandpaper and Silk. And I listened to them and what they had to say. And then I had to work for a while. And then I listened to 106.7 in the mid-afternoon, Doug Amos, Charlie Trotman show, ESPN The Ticket. Then I listened to Feinbaum. And by this point, I'd finally found out what the rant that our good friend Jimbo Fisher had gone on, right? So then after that, you know, I listened to one of the godfathers of it all, Bill Cameron, and in his show with Dan Peck out of Auburn, 106.7 also, and got completely engulfed in the story. And I'm not the only one. You can go to ESPN, SI Now, Twitter, CBS Sports, any kind of message board, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And do I think that you know, and through it all, and talking through it with people and getting texts from folks, I've kind of developed a couple of theories on this. And one, I do think that Nick Saban stepped in it. I think he kicked over a fire ant bed, and I don't think he did it on purpose. There's a lot of people that are like, he's a mastermind, he's trolling A&M, which I do think he does troll A&M and other people, very subtly, very subtly. But I do think that he was trolling a little bit. But I don't think that this was some type of mastermind ploy like at SEC Media Days where the whole world is watching and he's going to finally get his say-so. He was at some type of event where there's a lot of very wealthy Alabama people, and he's talking about how wealthy Texas A&M is, and he's using them as an example, and y'all better start kicking in more dough, or we're not going to get players as consistently as we once did. But it's not like Alabama finished 30th in recruiting. My God, they were second, only to Texas A&M. They get their players too. But I think that he did not think that this was going to come out in public. I think that he was using A&M as an example to try and drive revenue, and also to give his marching orders to the everyday average fan that something ain't right with A&M. That's why we didn't succeed as well as we normally succeed, being number one. And but now that it's all out there, third, he's going to use it. Don't let a controversy go to waste. Nick Saban's not going to waste this controversy. You'll see this whole thing reframed here in the next couple of days with media help, right? You'll see this whole thing reframed. It'll all kind of go away that although Jimbo Fisher went on a rant, we're good. I apologize. I shouldn't have got personal. I didn't mean to. It was a mistake. I was just using that as an example. I wasn't attacking them. No, I don't think that A&M, he's already said it, did anything illegal. No. They won't use the word cheat. Y'all all calm down. We're colleagues and competitors. But since we're talking about all this, I think things need to change. And you're already seeing it. He's putting ideas out there that every football player should get X amount of dollars, and then for a couple of years, and then after they prove themselves, they should get paid. He's not going to let this controversy go to waste, and he's going to try and manipulate the narrative, saying things like it's better for college football, but he ain't being paid by the NCAA, folks. He's paid to be the University of Alabama's head football coach and a face of that university and a revenue stream, and NIL. He is basically the definition of NIL for the University of Alabama, and he will use this as a conduit for change in college football as he tries to make it more towards his advantage. And I don't blame him. That's his job. I had someone ask me, a good friend asked me yesterday, if I thought it was all right that A&M bought players or used the NIL. I don't know, bought players is right, or used the NIL for recruiting purposes last year. Hell yeah. After 24 hours and thinking about it, I sure do. And I wouldn't be, and as long as it's not against NCAA rules, I hope Auburn's doing the same thing. Let's go get 25-star recruits. Because if you don't have the talent, you don't have a chance. And that's all there is to it. So that's it for the first part of the show, the first half of the show. There's my rant on it all. There's my take on it all. I think it was a massive slip up on Nick Saban. I really don't. This had already been addressed. This had already been talked about a couple of months ago. That's why I said this was a non-story until he opened his pie hole. I don't think that he has any reason ever to talk about anybody from a historical black college, and that's approaching no-go zone for Uncle T-Bone, because that's when you start talking about players at HBCs, you're talking about possibly ticking off grandmama. And I can tell you one thing in my life I've tried to do, that's tried to stay out of grandmama's way, because grandmama gets mad, the whole community gets mad, and it's bad for business. And that's a fact. You know, and even if Travis Hunter got $1 million, that's been debunked, to go to Jackson State, good for him and good for Jackson State. And let me tell you what, though, a couple of these schools, including Texas A&M, should probably thank Nick Saban at this point, because, I mean, what a sales rep he's been for them. Do you think that A&M boosters now have any question about kicking in money? This is a take I'm going to get to in the second part of the show on why I think this was a massive error by Nick Saban. It's called motivation. But let's get in real quick. Our good friends at Fairway Auto Brokers, Charlie Cox, has sent me a couple of hot deals over there. I want you to go online. I want you to take a look at these. Let's start from the top. A 2018 Toyota 4Runner Limited. That's a beautiful ride and a very solid one to boot. FairwayAutoBrokers.com, 2018 special color Blizzard Pearl. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Go online right now. Tell them that Uncle T-Bone sent you this 2018 Toyota 4Runner Limited special color Blizzard Pearl. I've never even heard of a Blizzard Pearl color. Got a 2016 Infiniti QX80 Limited. Those are hard to find. Folks. They do such an amazing job over there at Fairway Auto Brokers also. This one has CO3 50 state emissions. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. Check that one out over at Fairway Auto Brokers. What a solid ride that is. God, that's beautiful. And I'm going to link these to the show afterwards, so you can take a look at them. If you're looking for a good deal, that is definitely one of them. And then he sent me this 2018 Ford F-150 Lariat. I don't know about you guys, but if you've gone by car lots lately, trucks are hard to find and have been for quite some time. We got a phone call coming in, but check out this 2018 Ford F-150 Lariat. Let's see what we got here. Caller, go ahead. You're on Radio Free Auburn.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Who are we talking to?
Kevin from Tuskegee.
All right, Kevin Tuskegee, what's on your mind this morning?
You know, it's been kind of comical here the last couple of days listening to all the Bammers whine about Jimbo calling out Coach Saban here. And, you know, I think it's a culmination of things for Coach Saban. You know, I think it's he's finally reached his tipping point in frustration from over the last few years where Georgia has and Kirby has done extremely well over the last couple of years with his recruiting classes and clipping Alabama the number one spot. You know, Jimbo has gotten better with all things considered with his recruiting classes. And now that, you know, this new environment that we're living in with NIL, you know, everything becoming out in the open and a lot easier. You know, Alabama has forever led the charge in paying players here in the South and getting whomever they want.
Whoa now, Kevin. You think that Alabama's ever bought a player?
Well, I mean, look at Rashawn Evans and Reuben Foster. They had Auburn tattoos on their arm, and then all of a sudden on signing day, they magically signed with a crimson pen.
I'm sure that was just good, solid, hard work and recruiting, my friend.
Oh, no question, no question. It had nothing to do with a crimson-colored Nike book bag stuffed with cash.
I mean, come on now. Look, no one has ever caught anybody on video dropping off crimson Nike book bags of cash, Kevin. Now, let's not go over the top here with this and just start lobbing allegations here at Radio Free Auburn without some real hard proof. But I am going to agree with you on one thing, and a lot of things. Nick Saban's frustrated, isn't he?
Very frustrated. And I got listen to this now. With all of this happening in the last few years, and a lot of football purists are not happy with what's going on with players getting dealership deals. I mean,
right.
Look at that kid at LSU, Miles Brennan. He had a $100,000 diesel F-250, and then he breaks his arm falling out of a John boat fishing.
Yeah, if you believe that story, I got some oceanfront property in Notasulga I'd like to sell to you real cheap, Kevin. Highway 14, you see the sea. You believe he fell out of a John boat fishing? Okay.
You know, that bayou can get a little tricky sometimes.
I mean, were there alligators and crocodiles trying to circle his John boat when he's down there crappie fishing?
They were probably trying to find his passing game.
Wow. They've been looking for a passing game down there for a couple of years. That's a fact.
Well, they lost it in the bucket of crawfish, I imagine.
Hey, and speaking of crawfish, if you haven't had Ragin Cajun, go to AcadianFoods.com. I'm wearing the t-shirt today. That's Ragin Cajun. They got some of the best crawfish boil you'll ever have, Kevin. I know you like some crawfish.
I love some crawfish, you know, and it's crawfish season. The folks down there do a really good job. Everybody needs to go out and check them out.
Well, yep, go on over to Acadian Foods, AcadianKitchens.com, and tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. What you doing today there, Kevin?
I'll tell you what, we're going to hit the circuit today, try to get out and play a little bit of golf with some friends.
Yeah, get on that local circuit. That's a good place to be on a Friday afternoon, and then roll it on to the weekend for a little Auburn baseball. What's your prediction on the series?
You know, I think it's a solid 2-1 series. You know, we'll come out there with 2 games and hopefully, get us a good little seed, get a bite, get a day off on Wednesday. It starts on Wednesday, right, up there at the Hoover Met?
That's right. Next week we'll go into the SEC tournament, and then after that we'll be into regionals. I think Auburn is obviously very firm in the region, looking to win this series and hopefully lock down a super regional if they can get through the regional, which I think they can do.
I think if we can get to Saturday, it'll solidify the hosting regional site.
Yeah. Well, this is a good team, and hey, we got to run. Good luck on the local circuit today, and tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. Thanks for calling. That's Kevin from Tuskegee. He says Nick Saban's frustrated he doesn't get his way anymore and that Jimbo Fisher was right. I don't know about all that. I'll tell you one thing. We appreciate the call. I keep saying Acadian Foods. It's AcadianKitchens.com. I'm going to get better at this. Every day we're just trying to be a little bit better, okay? But it has been a heck of a show this morning. We've been going for about 35 minutes straight. I'm going to take a break, get some water, give these pipes a quick break. YouTube, my man Matthew Mays at Jupiter Coyote said I could play his music today. Go over to jcmerch.com and get one of these slick lids. It's Friday. Let's go with the real thing.
I'm sitting on the sidewalk and boom. I ain't got nothing better to do. Mr. S sings a song or two. Now that's amore. Rolling real here at time on two. Probably end up downtown before we're through. You got coke, you got the real thing. Sitting at the bar, making black and pants. I can't say nothing for the shape I'm in. I ain't drunk, I'm just drinking. You can ride so high on a plane load of fools, and one day, son, you run out of fuel. When you hit the ground, son, that's the real thing.
Bring it on home, Matthew.
Yeah, you can ride so high on a plane load of fools, and one day, son, you run out of fuel. When you hit ground, son, that's the real thing, yeah.
All right, that's Jupiter Coyote, my man Matthew Mays and the boys over there. They're going to be in Noonan, Georgia tonight. That's right, and tomorrow they're going to be down in Bluffton, South Carolina. 13 tickets left at the roasting room. Get in there, Low Country, and go and get down there and tell them that Uncle T-Bone sent you. And while you're at it, go over to jcmerch.com and get one of these slick lids. They got all kinds of other great T-shirts, CDs, you name it. Follow them on Facebook, Jupiter Coyote. Highly, highly recommend them here at Radio Free Auburn. Well, guess what? We've been talking about, the brouhaha between Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. That's going to be must-see television this fall. When those two get together, I'll probably even pay attention to SEC Media Days because of this. Had a caller, Kevin in Tuskegee, basically said Nick Saban's frustrated. Things have changed in college football, and they are now more beyond his control. And dare I say his process. I was listening to the great Barry McKnight yesterday on 740.com. He had one of the most intelligent things I've heard on sports talk radio ever said by a host. And he said, they were talking about this exact same thing. Maybe Saban's just, beginning to age out just a little bit. I don't quite believe that, but, it happens to everybody, Father Time, and you know what's undefeated in life. And he said that when Saban came into the league in 2006, first season 2007, it was probably closer to his time in the 60s and 70s when he came up in football than it is now, some 14, 15 years later. in 2022. That short amount of time since he's been here, the game has changed and the whole thing has changed. The whole happening that is college football has changed so rapidly and accelerated so quickly that it may just quite be starting to get to the point where it's beyond his reach and control. I don't know about that. You know, the guy probably coached forever. You know, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. So, but I do agree with that. I think the game was at least, you know, when I was born in 75, I'd say the game in 2006 was more like the game in 75 than it is now. Not just the style of play, not just how defenses work, recruiting, running a program, the amount of money. It's absurd. You know, what it takes to have a successful program, the analyst. Just look, for example, the head coach now at Oregon, Dan Lanning. He's like 17 years old, man. He's a kid. He's getting paid millions upon millions of dollars to run one of the biggest football programs in college football. Back in the day, you had to put in your 25 years before you got your shot. You had to put in a lot of time before you got your shot. Nobody like Lane Kiffin came along and became the Raiders head coach at 12. Like these days. So, look, last week we had a really awesome show. We did a live tasting of a local product called Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. They got a promo going, 15% off until May 31st. Check them out at unclekeithsredsauce.com. We had so much success with that. I want to thank all of you that follow Radio Free Auburn and help out here with Uncle T-Bone for going out and buying product, going to their website and ordering. It's just been a complete hit. I talked to Keith, the owner over there. We're going to get him on hopefully next week, and he was thrilled. He was thrilled and thanked every one of you. And I've already gotten positive feedback from everybody about how good his salsa is, his red sauce. It's ridiculously good. So I got another one for you. We had so much success with that. I got another one for you. It's called Ragin Cajun, folks. Ragin Cajun. And I want you to take a look at this right here. This is their shrimp and grits in a box. It takes all of about 15 minutes to cook. Get your ingredients together. It takes about 15, no more than 20 minutes to cook. I cooked this on Mother's Day for the old lady. And let me tell you what, we started off with it in the morning. Winter shrimp and grits dinner. Fact. It was a great day. And that was the best way to start it. They've got so many products like this in the box. Jambalaya, red beans and rice, all this Cajun stuff that's just fantastic that you can spend hours upon hours and hundreds of dollars getting together to make. Or you can go to AcadianKitchens.com, get 10% off promo code T-Bone, delivered to your house for free with orders over $50. I promise you're going to easily spend $50, and it's some of the best money you've ever spent on food. That's a fact. And get it brought to you and have gumbo in about 20 minutes that's out of this world. So they've got a seafood bisque that is the best seafood bisque that I've ever had. I've had seafood bisque all over the world, and it doesn't even touch the Ragin Cajun brand of seafood bisque. Highly recommend that. We're going to do a live taste, and actually, since it's the morning time, all right, last week we had chips and salsa for breakfast, so I got eggs this morning. I didn't have time to cook any chicken or anything this morning. They got this Ragin Cajun chicken or gator. If anybody's got any gator they want to cook this weekend, I highly recommend this right here. Put it over, and I'm going to put it over some eggs. Let's see what you got, Ragin Cajun. Let's see what you got. Little breakfast time here at Radio Free Auburn. Live tasting, chicken and gator, seasoning Ragin Cajun, AcadianKitchens.com. Let's go. Okay. Woo! That's got a little kick to it. We love a little kick here at Radio Free Auburn. Okay, that's good. That's real good. Like Uncle Keith's red sauce, that's excellent. Oh my goodness gracious, that's good. I can get a quick drink of water. I'm going to break a sweat. Man, that's some of the best seasoning I've ever had. Ragin Cajun, chicken or gator season. Let's cook some gator this weekend, right? So the big news, obviously, we talked about it. We've got our theories. I think by the end of all this, it's not how Nick Saban wanted to get the story out there and get the discussion going, but now that it's out there, he's going to take advantage of it, and you'll see in the next week or two a reframed discussion on not only NIL but probably transfer portal also. Because in today's college football world, you don't have to sit out. You can basically just go somewhere and then leave and go somewhere again. I'm not happy here. I'm out. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to stay here and be fourth-string running back at Alabama when I can go up to Kentucky and possibly be first-string running back. That's how this works these days. But there's some other stuff going on in sports too. Kevin from Tuskegee jogged my memory. He said he's hitting the local circuit here and playing and chasing that little white ball around. We got the PGA Championship going right now. Apparently, a lot of the players are upset about the bunkers out there. Poor babies. Rory McIlroy leading the whole thing, but here comes Justin Thomas, baby. Everyone's picked this week. A lot of people are all over Justin Thomas. 2 under today through 4. He's at 5 under and tied for the lead. I love this Will Zalatoris kid. He's fearless, and that's something that we want to be also here at Radio Free Auburn. I was talking to some people yesterday about the show and some concepts of the show, and there's just a couple of things other than free we want to be, right? And we want to be fair, and I feel like we have been, even with Nick Saban as an Auburn fan. Feel like we've been completely fair, and we want to be fearless. And this Will Zalatoris kid is fearless. I'll be watching him this weekend and pulling for him. But Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas leading, Matt Kuchar's up there, Schauffele's up there. I love Kevin Na. He drives people crazy, kind of like me. Kevin Na is a trip, man. Kevin Na at 2 under. The Kuchar himself is 2 under, had 1 under for the day. Tony Finau 1 under. So there's some Americans. Captain American himself, Patrick Reed, tees off at 147. He's 1 under. So it'll be a great shootout this weekend. That's what I'll probably be doing. I won't be on the local circuit. I'll be watching the PGA Championship. Get in here with some comments if you don't mind. Tell us what you think. John Kaler, old 2 shots in here, former Auburn basketball player. No NIL until after first year. I could agree with that. That would put a stop to it. I got something real quick before we get off on the NIL again. Kenny Rose, I think part of the reason he said it was to rally the Red Elephant Club to pitch in more money for this next class, telling them we got flat out outbid. That's one of those things that I got to talk about. You know, when people talk about, and I said this earlier, that another person or team was bought, in old school football terminology, that's basically implying that you got cheated. Did you get out cheated? You know, he without sin cast that first stone. I mean, look, I'm sure Nick Saban's going to get the benefit of the doubt, but you don't think they've ever pushed the rules of the NCAA like Texas A&M may have done this past recruiting season to the utter limit? One thing that also bothers me about it, there's a lot of generalized talk about this. It's like A&M bought their whole team. A&M cheated. They went 8-4. No way. They should have got the #1 recruiting class in the country. Give me some specifics, right? That Billy Lucci from TexasAgs.com's on Feinbaum yesterday, and he's saying 14 players from that class are already on campus for spring training, and he knows for a fact that only 1 has an NIL deal. Are you going to take his word or the rivals out there saying they all got bought? Give me some specifics. Who got bought? Who bought them? What's their deal? And was it against NCAA rules or not? It's not illegal. The whole legality of it has nothing to do with me or the NCAA. The NCAA has rules. Were rules broken or were they not? If they were not, shut up. You got out. They found a loophole. They exploited it, and they found a way to beat you, just like Auburn found a way to beat Nick Saban in 2013 with Gus Malzahn's hurry-up, no-huddle offense during the offseason, Alabama people, all they said about it was, it's street ball. Is this what we want? They found a way in the rules to compete and win, and guess what happened? The rules got changed. Substitution timeouts, remember this? 2019 Iron Bowl. Is this what we really want in substitutions? That's my Joe Biden whisper voice. You know, it's like playing fantasy football, if you've ever done that, and winning the league, and then the guy who's always had the best team saying we need to change the rules. You know, are there any rules? That's another question. But so here's my take on it. I could say, I guess I could go with the legislation like John Kaler says here, that no NIL until after 1 year. I don't think that's right, but that might help. Here's what I say: that all universities that have players that have NIL have to have a website, and it has to be updated for John Q. Public and the NCAA within 48 hours or 72 hours after an NIL deal is cut. That said player has to turn it in to the moderator of that website for the university, whoever is overseeing these things. And there's a spreadsheet on there, and it shows player, deal, who's paying for the deal, and how much. Make it completely 100% transparent and open. So my good friend Kevin Tudhope at Baumhauer's, class of 1991, Big Nagy, wants to pay Joe Blow to push his chicken wings up there at Baumhauer's. It goes right there on the website, and how much is paid and how much is going on. I think without full transparency in these deals, there will be no legislation that will ever reel this in. That's my take on it. And speaking of Baumhauer's, folks, I got a text from my good friend Kevin Tudhope. Grew up inside the loop and on the loveliest village like yours truly, been knowing him forever. I want you to go to Baumhauer's, to go to their website, go to their Facebook page. Today's the last day. There's a survey going on through the Chamber of Commerce here in Auburn. Best of small businesses for 2022. I want you to click on that. I want you to vote for Baumhauer's. I've already done it. I've done it multiple times. You can do it once a day. I love Baumhauer's. I love Bob's Victory Yell, Baumhauer's, right here on Bent Creek Drive. I love it. They've got the best buffalo chicken sandwich that I've ever had. Fact. And then I always ask for a side of Wickles with it and put it on there. Oh, yeah. It's always good. High quality service, high quality food. That's why I voted for him. Not just because Kevin's my friend, but I really believe in his product. That's what we do here at Radio Free Auburn. Not getting paid for this. This isn't a business. This is fun. This is an audition, whatever. This is practice. I'm a fan. I'm not in the media. I got a lot to say, so I'm saying it. All for free here at Radio Free Auburn. Man, it's been a lot of fun today. I'm looking forward to the weekend, the PGA Championship, Auburn baseball up in Kentucky. Rained out last night. Doubleheader today. Tigers get this series. They're probably a top 8 for a super regional, which means if they win their region in the NCAA tournament, they'll host a team, best 2 out of 3, to see who goes to Omaha to play for it all in the College World Series. So that would be huge for Butch Thompson. What a great job he's done. You know, we talk about Bruce Pearl and how much we love Bruce Pearl here and how good a job he's done, because Bruce Pearl is so energetic and he's a salesperson for not just Auburn basketball, for Auburn, and that he's one of the most valuable assets over there at Auburn, and he's such a motivator, and he's always so positive, and he's so passionate, and he's just created this buzz around Auburn basketball. You know who's creating a buzz around Auburn baseball? That's Butch Thompson. That guy's a solid college baseball coach. Probably one of the top 20 coaches in baseball, and I'm damn glad he's over there at Auburn. He's got Uncle T back watching Auburn baseball. College baseball, so awesome, especially this time of year. Tune in for all the games because it's playoff time, and when it's playoff time, it means it's win or go home. And you're going to see people that have been given 105%, given 155% at every bat, at every pitch. And the fans are there going crazy during it all. And that's what we are here at Radio Free Auburn's fans. So let's do a quick recap. Every Friday brought to you by our good friends at Fairway Auto Brokers. That's my good friend Charlie Cox, one of the city of Auburn, Terrace Acres finest. He sent me some deals. There's one more he sent me. Okay, let's go right back through these just real quick. Just real quick, folks. Okay, these are his top 4 deals right now. When you go over to fairwayautobrokers.com, go ahead and fill out. It takes 3 to 5 minutes online. Keywords in the comment: Summer Car Blitz, $500 off any internet price. Keyword: Uncle T-Bone sent me. 2018 Toyota 4Runner we talked about. That's a beautiful Blizzard Pearl. This 2016 Infiniti. I mean, where do you get these high-quality cars, Charlie? Some car lots don't even have cars right now. Like, trucks are almost as scarce as baby formula these days. 2018 Ford F-150 Lariat. What? And then last but not least, they've got a 2005 Toyota Land Cruiser over there right now. This is a special that they are running. This is the Uncle T-Bone special 2015 Toyota Land Cruiser. I may just go buy that right now. Those cars do nothing but go up, way up in value. You can't find them. I don't know how Fairway Auto Broker does it, but they get the best selection of used cars, trucks, SUVs, sedans, vans, you name it. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. We got Jupiter Coyote in Noonan, Georgia tonight. We got Jupiter Coyote in Bluffton, South Carolina tomorrow. Get in there, low country. Tell them Uncle T-Bone sent you. Ragin Cajun, we did a live tasting. AcadianKitchens.com. That's AcadianKitchens.com. They're doing a promo, 10% off. T-Bone. All caps, letter T, bone. No hyphen. Going to finish off this egg with this seasoning right here. We put the chicken and gator on it. Fantastic. And I told you right here, this is called a winter shrimp and grits dinner in a box, about 20 minutes. They've got so many selections like that. The seafood bisque. I've been around the world eating seafood bisque and never had better seafood bisque than the Ragin Cajun out of a box. Fantastic. Took like 20 minutes to cook. So let me tell you what, man, it's been a heck of a show. And I don't really know what to say about what happened yesterday other than it was very emotional in college football. That's just a fact. I mean, it was like fan level emotion. You saw Jimbo Fisher go buck wild on Nick Saban. He basically, all I can tell you is that he had the devil in him and was ready to fight. What if they'd have been in the same room at the same time then? That would have been like, I don't think it's WWE wrestling, where they're just like hating each other in public and now back in the back drinking beer and laughing and counting their money. Kind of like Democrats and Republicans do these days. I don't think it's that. I think that there's a pure dislike now. I believe that football game is October 8th in Tuscaloosa. Let me look that up real quick. I want to get the facts right. Alabama football schedule 2022. And Alabama plays Texas this year. That's pretty cool. At Texas, September 10th. Notice I'm not talking about Auburn. I'm sure there's plenty of Alabama fans saying, oh, how can an Auburn fan? Why don't you talk about your own team? We're just laying low, man. We're staying out of all this. That's a good thing for Auburn right now, especially what happened this past winter. Lay low, get some players in there. Auburn's been getting some players in the transfer portal. Build your team, have your summer practice, be real quiet, and come out with hatchets and try and make some noise this fall. I think that the big winner right here might be Brian Arson. No one's talking about him right now. He's just able to go and do his job. Do it, coach. I'll be there. I've got questions about that program, but you know I'm a fan. I'll be there. A&M at Alabama, October 28th, 2022, to be determined on the time. That'll probably be CBS 7 o'clock prime time. Hell, they might even bring prime time in to bring the ball out. That's going to be wild. That's going to be must-see television. So thank you very much for being here. It's been a heck of a show. Having a great time. I love doing this. It's a lot of fun. Look, I don't get paid to do it. I just like bringing people together. I think it makes me a better salesperson in the game of life, sitting here and just pouring my heart out to you. Those are the thoughts for the day. Thank you, Fairway Auto Brokers. Thank you, Charlie Cox. Thank you, Ragin Cajun. Thank you, Jupiter Coyote. We're going to end it with a little Rose Hill. Permission to play from Matthew Mays. Radio Free Auburn. I'm Uncle T-Bone. Have a great weekend. Y'all have a great weekend. We're out of here.
Never growing up, just older. Winter's getting warmer, not colder. I'm feeling the way.
Can't stand it. Got to stay around a little longer. Ragin Cajun! Let's go!